All right, everybody, good morning. This is Mitch Broderick here with Platform. I hope everyone is doing well. Thank you so much for joining us here on today's webinar. Just to make sure, if you're here for the High Hanging Fruit webinar to get the free copy of the book High Hanging Fruit by Tim Shermack, you are in the right place. And so we're going to jump right in here in just a second, but I just want to kind of talk to you or introduce really quick. I'm Mitch Broderick. I'm who you've been getting emails from for the webinar, and I'm going to be kind of hanging around in the back during this webinar on the live chat. I'll answer some questions if they come up. I'm also responding to people through emails and text messages, so I'm kind of hopping around, trying to be as attentive as possible. And so if you have questions throughout the webinar, you can let me know. And then I also want to talk about Tim Shermack and introduce him. He's going to be kind of delivering the webinar and teaching you all the stuff that we do with this high-hanging fruit strategy that makes our agents so successful. As a former realtor, I have not come across a better marketing strategy or marketing system for generating leads while also building a strong brand in one's target market than this high-hanging fruit system. So again, I'll just repeat, everybody's going to get a free copy of the high-hanging fruit book. We'll give you those details here on the webinar for how to get the book. And just before we get going, this is not the type of marketing system where, or the type of webinar where we're just going to talk about vague concepts. We're actually going to give you actionable pieces of information and kind of give away the farm. And so one person I want to talk about before we get started is a client who is a now client of Platform who's implementing the high-hanging fruit system. Her name is Crystal Boggs, and Tim will go into detail on her later. But her name is Crystal Boggs, and she's actually in Biloxi, Mississippi. And she actually was on a webinar with us at the beginning of the month. I believe it was January 5th. We did one of these webinars. And she signed up with Platform, and we're going to talk about that at the very end. And basically, in her very first week of working with Platform, she has 3 buyers pre-approved from ads that we taught her about and that we're running. And one of them already is under contract, one of them's in negotiations, and one of them is pre-approved and looking. So she's very excited about getting results right away with this Platform system and seeing it actually be impactful. So without further ado, I'm just going to introduce Tim Shermack, who is the CEO of Platform and the author of High Hanging Fruit, and turn the the steering wheel over to him. And again, I'll be in the background kind of answering everybody throughout. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Mitch. As Mitch said, this is Tim Shermack speaking. I'm the CEO of Platform Marketing as well as the author of the book High Hanging Fruit. So without further ado, guys, I'm going to hop here into screen share mode, and we're going to dive into this webinar. All right, awesome. So as Mitch said earlier, everyone is going to get a free copy of the book High Hanging Fruit. So if you're just joining us right now, I know we've had a couple people join us here in the last 30 seconds. If you're just hopping on, you are going to get a free copy of the book High Hanging Fruit just for being on this webinar, and we'll show you how to do that at the end. But this is live, so I want to remind everyone that this is live. It's not a pre-recorded webinar. One of the most annoying things I think I've seen is that a lot of marketing companies are now doing webinars where they say it's live and they make it look like it's live, but it's actually pre-recorded, right? And I think that's BS. That always pisses me off when I see that. So this is a live webinar. It is Thursday, February 1st this morning. I want everyone to know that. Trump just did the State of the Union. I think there was some controversy or something with some people not standing or not clapping. So that's just my way of telling you that it is a live webinar. It is Thursday, February 1st. Super Bowl is coming up. Eagles versus Patriots. So there you go. This is a live webinar, right? So right away, I want to start talking to you guys about this concept of high-hanging fruit, all right? You see this text message I have up on the screen. This is a screenshot that a realtor sent us. And yeah, they got a bunch of listing leads, some buyers, and that's all great. So they got results, which is ultimately all that matters. But what I want to point your attention to is what's at the end of this text message. It says, my pipeline is full. So my pipeline is full. That's what high hanging fruit is all about. So if I can just get right down to the point here, like immediately on the very first slide of this training this morning, the whole purpose of high hanging fruit is building a pipeline. Most marketing systems for realtors are trying to create what I would consider low hanging fruit. So low hanging fruit are the leads that are ready to go this month, or the leads that are ready to go even this week, right? It's a lead that you get from realtor.com or Zillow or something, and they're basically ready to get pre-approved today, or they want to start house hunting today. Or maybe it's a listing lead and they're ready to have you over for like a listing appointment this week because they want to sell their house as quickly as possible, right? So that's what I call low hanging fruit. That's where all the competition is. Everyone wants low hanging fruit. So paradoxically, the most opportunity is high hanging fruit. What this means from a marketing perspective is we're just moving up the sales cycle, right? So I'd rather generate a lead who's maybe 3 or 4 months away from actually being ready to buy or sell than a lead who's ready to go this week. And I know that sounds crazy, but the reason why is that there's no competition for high hanging fruit leads. No one even wants those leads. And so they're so easy to get. They're so easy to build rapport with, build a relationship with, that your conversion rate is much higher with these leads, and you can get way more leads for less money. All right. So again, high hanging fruit is about intentionally structuring your lead generation campaigns, intentionally structuring them right from the get-go so that you're actually intentionally bringing in leads that might not be ready for 3 months, 4 months, maybe even 5 months. So it's February right now. Maybe some of these leads won't even be ready until June, right? And so if you structure these high hanging fruit campaigns correctly, the cool thing is you'll never have to worry about where your next closing is going to come from. So most realtors live like closing check to closing check and commission to commission, right? They never really know where their next deal is going to come from because they're not building a pipeline. They're chasing low hanging fruit. When you buy leads from Zillow or realtor.com, Boomtown, Commission Sync, whatever, right? They're more or less all the same. You're fighting over low hanging fruit. That's where all the competition is. So what we're going to show you in this webinar is how to build a high hanging fruit marketing system so that you always have a future pipeline of leads. And by the way, being it's February right now, it's the absolute perfect time to be doing this because the lead generation that you do in February directly translates to the closings that you'll have in March, April, May. All right. So usually when someone hires me for a consulting day, the first thing I want to get clear on is that when I talk about this high hanging fruit strategy, it's not like a tactic. And honestly, it's not even really a strategy. High hanging fruit is more of a philosophy. So it's not like a bigger picture level than even tactics or strategy. High hanging fruit is like a philosophy. It's a new way of thinking about marketing. And really, it's the opposite of what most agents have been taught their entire career. Most agents are taught, to go after the low hanging fruit, go after the leads that are ready to go right now, right? We want to go after the leads that their listing just expired or it's a for sale by owner, right? And so we cold call expireds and we cold call FSBOs. Maybe we get set up with like a mojo dialer, right? And agents are taught to just prospect the low hanging fruit, harass their friends and family in their sphere of influence. That strategy doesn't always work that well because again, that's where all the competition is, right? So if we're going to invest money and invest our time into a marketing strategy, I want there to be as little competition as possible. Because what that means for you on a personal level is you can spend less money than the competition and actually get more leads. The realtors I'm going to be showing you in this webinar, because I'll share some actual specific case studies of the specific ads they've run, the success they're having. So I'm going to give away everything on this webinar, guys. This is not one of those webinars where we just talk about theory and then at the end you're like, oh, well, I don't really know what to do now. I'm going to show you exactly what to do. I'll even share with you the specific Facebook ads that we use to get leads, and I'll share with you how to target them. I'm going to show everything to you, right? So, but if you're going to invest money, time, right, in a marketing system, it needs to actually generate leads. We don't care about branding. We don't care about top of mind awareness. We don't care about quote unquote getting your name out there. It's all about what actually generates leads. Okay, so here's an example of someone who was on this exact webinar in November, around like Thanksgiving. So this isn't, you know, this video isn't 2 years old or a year old or 6 months old. It's like literally like a month old, basically, right? And so this is someone who was on the same webinar where we did this same webinar training live back around Thanksgiving last year. So just like a month ago, basically. And these are the results that Michelle got in her very first week using this high-hanging fruit strategy.
Hi, this is Michelle Jones from Tennessee. I joined the platform webinar. I signed up, and my results for the first 10 days are that the 2 new listings ads that I ran with platform, I got both under contract in the same day. I also have 5 active buyers that I'm currently working with now, and I also have obtained 3 new listings.
And so that's crazy. She picked up 5 buyers and 3 new listings just in the first week, basically, that she implemented this high-hanging fruit lead generation strategy, right? The reason I showed you that video there is because if I told you those results, like verbally, you probably wouldn't believe me. It sounds like too good to be true. So that's how powerful this marketing strategy is people are getting results like this. And I wanted to show you the video so you actually believe me. So please grab a pen and paper, notepad, and take notes, because I'm going to try to jam this into about 60 minutes here. Normally when like a broker hires me to do like a consulting day for their team or something, I'll do like a 7 or even 8 hour training day. And so basically I'm trying to jam all that knowledge and all of these lead generation strategies, tactics into an hour webinar. All right, so I'm going to talk fast if you haven't already noticed. So please take notes, grab a pen and paper if you don't have one in front of you, because you'll want to be taking notes as we go through this. What we're going to talk about is why I think the modern real estate industry, specifically lead generation, is a total crapshoot right now. I think most internet leads suck, you know, whether you're getting them from Curator or Commissions Inc. or Boomtown or Real Geeks or YLopo, or, you know, obviously the big ones like Realtor.com, Zillow. Internet leads, online leads suck. The conversion rate's terrible. They're expensive. The lead quality is crap. Usually half the leads you get from these companies have fake emails, fake phone numbers. And I'm going to teach you how to solve that problem once and for all. And throughout the webinar too, I'll be sharing with you more like video stories and examples of agents that are running these ads that are doing really, really well. I try to focus on actual GCI increase, because from a marketing perspective, that's all that matters, right? We don't want to just talk about number of leads or number of page views or number of video views on your videos, or even numbers of clicks on your ads. Like, no one cares about clicks. That really shouldn't be a metric that you pay too much attention to. What ultimately matters is the marketing growing your business? Is it actually driving an increase in your GCI? So pretty consistently, the cool thing is when agents implement this high-hanging fruit strategy, their GCI doubles. Like, consistently, we can double someone's GCI if they take action on this high-hanging fruit idea. And so I'm not saying that one agent one time in like an exceptional case doubled their GCI. So I'm not just picking an outlier where like the best case ever was someone double their GCI. No, I'm saying consistently we are able to double the GCI of agents that use this high-hanging fruit system. All right, some agents have even tripled, and I'll share one who actually quadrupled his GCI using this high-hanging fruit idea. All right, so you might also hear me say the platform strategy or high-hanging fruit strategy. Just so you guys know, if I say platform strategy, I mean the same thing. Platform and high-hanging fruit, for all intents and purposes, are the same thing. Platform is the name of the company that I'm CEO of. That's the marketing company that agents hire us just to manage all their marketing for them. So you might hear me sometimes say platform strategy or high-hanging fruit strategy. High-hanging fruit, of course, is just the title of the book that I wrote. So they mean the same thing. All right. Also, at the end of this webinar, we are going to give you a free copy of the book High-Hanging Fruit, totally free. But also, as an additional bonus on top of that, we're actually going to offer you a trial month of Platform if you're interested. So what we do with Platform is we just manage all of your marketing for you. We set up all your Facebook ads, your landing pages. We send out follow-up emails, text messages. We set up retargeting campaigns for you. So I'll share more about it at the end. I'm not going to spend any time on that now, but Just so you guys know, at the end, we'll also be giving you an additional gift in that you can check out platform marketing on a trial month if you're interested. So let's dive into this. 4 reasons that this platform strategy, this high-hanging fruit strategy, right, can double or even triple your GCI this year. Usually I start with this video. This is Jonathan Garrick. You can see there he's holding a copy of the book, High Hanging Fruit. Now, most agents have read Gary Keller's book, right? Like The One Thing, or you've read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. You know, you can see on Jonathan's bookshelf there, he has those books right on the bookshelf. You know, Gary Keller's work is basically like the Bible for real estate agents, right? Like I swear every realtor out there has read at least one of Gary Keller's books. And for good reason. They're good books. They have really good information. But what Jonathan discovered was that, like, when he's reading those books and he's making his business plans, right, and his goals for 2018, those books are really useful for building out your goals and your vision and what you want to accomplish and setting kind of a high-level structure for your business. But he was missing kind of a tactical roadmap. Like, what's the next step, right? Like, how will I generate the leads necessary to actually hit my goals, right? And so for him, high-hanging fruit was the answer to that. Like, he got really inspired after reading some of Gary Keller's books, but once he read high-hanging fruit, it gave him the specific knowledge so that he was confident that he would actually be able to generate the number of leads every month that would be necessary to hit his goals. So for him, it was kind of like the missing link in his business. So here's a quick 20-second video of Jonathan I want to share with you as we dive into this specific high-hanging fruit marketing strategy. So after this, we'll dive into the marketing strategy, how to generate leads, and then I'll also show you some specific Facebook ads that are working right now to generate leads.
It's Jonathan Garrick, real estate agent in Southwest Florida with Keller Williams Realty, and I'm here today to talk to you about the book High Hanging Fruit and the platform system. And if you've ever read any of the books by Gary Keller, The One Thing or The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, they give you the real big picture thinking on how to come up with a business plan and to grow your real estate business. This is the rocket fuel to that system to actually how to market your business and yourself effectively. So definitely, if you're interested in this book, pick up a copy and also contact Platform. It was one of the best business decisions I've ever made.
Awesome. Awesome. So again, it was like the missing link in his business. So if you're just joining us, we are going to give a free copy of the book for everyone on this webinar. So I just wanted to remind everyone of that. Everyone will get a free copy of High Hanging Fruit. And it is a 200-page book. So it's not some like BS, like 20-page, you know, pamphlet or something. High Hanging Fruit is a legit 200-page book. This is the last video that I said I was going to show you here. This is Jose. He's in Colorado Springs. He's the agent I mentioned who actually quadrupled his GCI once he implemented the high hanging fruit strategy. So he didn't just double, he didn't just triple, he actually quadrupled his GCI once he implemented this high hanging fruit strategy.
Guys, if you're still skeptical about high hanging fruit, let's just break down the numbers real quick. In 2013, I did 25 deals. I then implemented high hanging fruit platforms so that you know. In 2014, I went from 25 to 50 deals. In 2015, I went from 50 deals to 70 deals, baby. And now in 2016, I'm making over 100 transactions so that you know. And now that I have my team in place in 2016, just imagine what I'm going to do in 2017. Make it a phenomenal day.
Awesome. So again, he didn't just double, he didn't just triple, he actually quadrupled his GCI. So are you guys ready to take notes? Let's dive into this. I won't spend any time on this. I just want you guys to know the context of this. The first book I wrote wasn't actually high hanging fruit. It was Main Street Marketing. This is the first book I had published, and it was full of marketing strategies for local small business owners, right? Like just a very Main Street, brick and mortar small business, right? What happened when I published this book was a lot of people who read it started emailing me saying they were having success using the strategies. They were real estate agents. And so what I discovered was that the ideas in this book were working for, you know, other small business owners too, but tons of realtors started emailing me saying, holy cow, you know, I've applied some of your lead generation ideas and my business is blowing up. And so some of them ended up hiring me to do more in-depth consulting with them. And then I further refined some of the strategies and just made them as specific as possible for real estate agents. And they had such great success using this system that I decided to write a new book entirely, which is this book, High Hanging Fruit. So High Hanging Fruit is a 200-page book specifically for realtors. It's not just a general small business marketing book. It's written specifically for real estate agents. And it's really the only book of its kind to my knowledge, because I know there's obviously a ton of marketing books already out there. If you go to Barnes & Noble, right, there's probably hundreds of marketing books on the shelves. And there's also been books written for realtors. I know that Gary Keller has written, lots of great books for realtors, but there's really not any marketing books written for realtors that are that specific. So that's what High Hanging Fruit is. It's full of our lead generation philosophies and specific tactics too, of how to generate more leads for your business using the high hanging fruit style. So again, everyone is going to get a free copy of this book. So the very first thing that I usually talk about in like a private training consulting day, right? If someone hires me, is where to invest your time versus where to invest your money. These are the two variables that drive your business growth as a realtor. And most people are spending these variables without any knowledge or awareness of, what that ratio looks like, right? So where to invest your time, where to invest your money. What most agents do is they invest their time generating leads and they invest their money trying to buy leads at the bottom of the funnel, right? So if you envision like the typical sales cycle or the sales funnel, right? Like that sales funnel where it's wide at the top and then it gets narrow at the bottom. It basically looks like an upside down triangle, right? So just like imagine that sales funnel in your mind, right? It's wide at the top, narrow at the bottom. A bunch of leads coming at the top, and as they work their way through, there's fewer and fewer and fewer. And so you might start with 100 leads, and then at the end of, your follow-up, you've converted maybe 1 or 2 of the 100 leads, into actually closing with you, right? That is, by the way, the average conversion rate for online leads in the real estate industry is about 1%. That's the average. So if you think about that online funnel, or the sales funnel rather, right? If you think about the sales funnel, most agents are spending all their time at the top of the funnel. So the main ingredient for growing their business and generating leads is an investment of their time, right? And so to generate leads at the top of the funnel, at the top of the sales cycle, what they do to kind of get the lead generation process going and to start building a pipeline is they invest their time. They call leads, right? They might get a mojo dialer, right? They might sign up with a service like RedX or, Vulcan, right? And they're cold calling expired listings and FSBOs. And, as soon as a new, expired listing, expires, right? They're calling them that day along with, the other 10 or 20 agents that are calling them that day, right? And so most agents are taught to invest their time to generate leads, and they invest their money at the bottom of the funnel trying to buy leads that are basically ready to go, what we call low-hanging fruit, right? So they invest their time to generate leads, but they invest their money trying to buy leads at the bottom of the funnel. And so if you've ever, purchased leads, right, from Realtor.com or Zillow or even, websites like Sync, Boomtown, things like that, realize that when you're buying leads, that is by definition low-hanging fruit. Because if a lead has got to the point where it's essentially a commodity that can be bought and sold, they're basically ready to go look at houses. They just need a realtor to, show them, right? By definition, that is low-hanging fruit, right? They're at the bottom of the sales cycle, the bottom of the sales funnel. They're ready to go. And, these companies like, Realtor, Zillow, they're packaging up these leads and selling them as if it's a product, right? So even the verb we use, like, oh, I'm buying leads, right? I bought leads. It's as if these leads are just a commodity being bought and sold, like they're not real people, right? It's just like a product that you buy and sell. And so by definition, if they're at the bottom of the funnel and you're buying them, right, that's low-hanging fruit. And obviously it's nice when you get a lead who's ready to go right now. They're ready to look at houses right now, or they're ready to list their house, this week. That's nice. But the problem is that's where all the competition is, right? Everyone wants the low-hanging fruit leads. And so ironically, they're not really low-hanging fruit in the normal sense of the term. They're actually the hardest leads to convert because that's where all the competition is, right? So most agents are investing their time generating leads, right? Maybe they're not like cold calling every day, but maybe they're volunteering in the community, or they're volunteering at their church. They're trying to get their name out there, right? So when people at their kids' school or church, or, you know, maybe they're in like a BNI group, right? They just want people to think of them when they think of real estate. So if they're going to buy or sell, that they would just go to that, right? So again, most agents are taught from the very first day they get their real estate license, essentially to, you know, invest your time to generate leads. And then with whatever marketing budget you have, you know, whether it's $3,000 a month or $300 a month, with whatever marketing budget you have, most agents spend that on trying to just buy leads at the bottom of the funnel, right? So they throw a couple $100s a month at, you know, Realtor.com or Zillow or Real Geeks or Curator. You know, there's tons of these websites out there, right? They more or less all do the same thing. You're just buying leads, right? So I want you to do the opposite, because the problem with investing all your time to generate leads at the top of the funnel, the problem with doing that is that it's not scalable, right? If time is the main ingredient, like you're, you know, maybe time, maybe you're time blocking 2 hours a day to make, you know, cold calls, right? Calling expireds, calling physicals, or maybe you're calling your sphere of influence, right? You're just asking for referrals, right? But if you're just time blocking a couple hours every day to make calls, and that's the main way that you generate leads, the problem is that it works. So I'll say that again. The problem is actually that it works up to a certain point. So most agents can grow their business to around 30 transactions a year by doing this. But what happens at about 30 transactions a year is they run out of time. Because if time is the main investment that you're using to generate leads and grow your business, time ultimately becomes the exact constraint that prevents you from getting to the next level, right? And so if time is the main ingredient, that's great, but it's also going to be the limiting factor that prevents you from growing. And so what I always teach our clients is that we need to shift this. So right away, before we even set up any ads, you first need to kind of rearrange your priorities and rearrange how you structure your day-to-day business, right? So we need to do the opposite of what most agents are doing. So we're going to just flip this funnel entirely. So I'm going to tell you that in the context of this high-hanging fruit philosophy, you should actually invest your money at the top of the funnel generating leads. You know, build some lead generation campaigns that just consistently generate leads. So every day you have fresh leads coming in. So you invest your money at the top of the funnel generating leads so that you can only invest your time at the bottom of the funnel, and you're only following up with warm leads that your marketing system warmed up for you. So let me say that again. In the context of this high-hanging fruit idea, right, what really makes this work is that we're flipping the funnel. We're doing the opposite of what most agents are taught to do. We're actually going to invest money at the top of the funnel, creating lead generation campaigns so we have a steady flow of leads coming in, so that we only have to invest our time following up with leads that were already warmed up for us. So if you do this, most agents, you know, that time block, you know, if they're cold calling every day or doing follow-up, you know, they're probably time blocking like 2 hours a day to basically reach out to leads, right? But I will tell you that if you do this right and you build a marketing system, a high-hanging fruit lead generation system that generates leads for you, primarily using Facebook ads, by the way, and we'll get to that at the end of the webinar. I'll show you like the specific ads you should run that I know are working. But if you have this set up and it's working for you, right? You have a couple leads coming in every single day, right? You'll only invest your time following up with warm leads. And so if you're only following up with warm leads who actually like requested to hear from you, where you're not interrupting them, you're not cold calling them, they actually requested information from you and you're just following up with a warm lead, you don't have to spend 2 hours a day doing lead follow-up. You can spend like 45 minutes and you will convert more leads in that 45 minutes than most people do in 2 hours of cold calling. Because if you're calling warm leads in 45 minutes, it's just a total qualitative difference than calling strangers for 2 hours, right? So that's scalable, right? You can actually double, or in some cases even triple your GCI if you only spend your time calling warm leads. Does that make sense, guys? This is so important to get right and get clear on this right away, because all the Facebook ads in the world or the Google pay-per-click ads or wherever you're getting your ads from, if you got 100 new leads a month or 500 new leads a month, if you don't structure your business this way, it doesn't matter because you won't even have time to follow up with all them. And so I always get really clear on that right away, that we're going to build a marketing system that generates leads for you so that you, from now on, you only follow up with warm leads. You don't spend hours every day cold calling complete strangers. All right. So another reason I love this high hanging fruit idea is that the leads are so much cheaper, right? So agents have gotten used to, because Zillow is so expensive now, realtor.com is way more expensive. If you were spending $1,000 a month on ads, 5 years ago, maybe with Zillow, like you were buying $1,000 worth of impressions, you were getting way more leads 5 years ago for $1,000 a month than you're getting today for $1,000 a month. And it's not just inflation, right? Inflation hasn't affected us that much in just 5 years. It's that the leads are way more expensive. And I'll explain the details of why that's happening in the next slide. But for now, what I just need you to understand is that another benefit, in addition to having higher quality leads with high hanging fruit, is that the leads are cheaper. So it almost sounds like too good to be true, but by the end of this webinar, you'll understand why this actually is possible. But the leads are both cheaper and higher quality. The reason they're cheaper is basic supply and demand, right? The higher we go up the sales funnel, the earlier we're getting to people in their own personal sales cycle, right? The cheaper the leads are. So it's February 1st right now, right? If we're generating leads of people that aren't going to be ready to, list their house or buy a house until May or June, those leads will be cheaper than trying to buy low-hanging fruit leads that are ready to go in February, right? Because there's no competition. It's just supply and demand. We're probably the only real estate agent who's appealing to those leads this early in the sales cycle, 3 or 4 months before they're actually ready to buy or sell. And so because the leads are so much cheaper, that means that, you could have an ads budget of as little as like $500 a month, and you're probably bringing in for $500 a month somewhere between 100, 150 leads, maybe even 200 leads a month for $500. And so usually the cost per lead, just to give you like a specific number, our average for clients is probably right around a cost per lead of about $3 to $4. That's like the average. That's not me quoting a best case scenario. That's the average. So if you set up these high hanging fruit ads the way that I'll show you in this webinar, again, I'm going to show you like the specific Facebook ads to do. I'm not just talking theory here. I will give you the exact ads to run. If you do it right, you should be able to get leads for about $3 to $4 a piece, right? And so, that's just fourth grade math. If you're spending $100, every $100 you spend on lead generation should consistently bring in 25 to 30 leads, right? Every $100 you spend brings in 25 to 30 leads. So if you can spend even just $300 a month on ads, you're probably going to bring in somewhere around 50 to 100 leads for just $300 in ad spend. And so you can see how your business can grow very, very quickly when the leads are that cheap. The problem with, companies now like realtor.com, Zillow, Boomtown, YLopo, Commissions Inc., Curator, Real Geeks, all those companies are more or less the same, right? The problem is the leads are so much more expensive now than they were a couple years ago. We're not getting leads anymore for $5. We're getting leads for $10 or $20. Or I've heard people say that they pay Zillow $1,000 a month and they might only get 10 leads for $1,000 a month. That's $100 per lead, right? It's pretty hard to make the numbers work if you're paying $100 per lead. And so just another reason I love the strategy is that the leads are higher quality, and I'll show you that, but also they're cheaper. So it really shouldn't be that shocking. It really shouldn't be that shocking when I'm telling you that this can consistently double the GCI of agents once you realize that they're getting leads for $3 a piece, $4 a piece, right? Consistently, every $100 that you spend on ads should bring in 25 to 30 leads. And so if every $100 you spend brings in 25, 30 leads, you can see that it's really not that hard to double your business when you have that amount of lead flow coming in. So I want to show you this text message quick. There's really nothing special about this. We get texts like this, honestly, all the time from clients that are happy that they're getting, new leads coming in. But what's cool about this one is that this is a kid. He's 19 years old. So he's 19. He like literally just graduated high school, right? And so if this high-hanging fruit system can work for someone who's 19 years old, like a brand new realtor, recently licensed, I mean, he's not even college age yet, right? Usually when you graduate college, you're like 22 years old. He's still 19. So if a 19-year-old can make this work and he's getting pre-approved leads at $400,000, if a 19-year-old can do it, you can too. His name is Keaton, and he works in Wisconsin. So I mentioned earlier that with all the realtors I've consulted with over the years, I mean, it's like hundreds now, right? I've noticed a trend. And that trend is that agents hit a plateau right around 30 closings a year. You know, they get started, they work really hard. Maybe their first year, they do 10 deals. Their second year, they do 20. Their third year, they do 32. And then the fourth year, they do 31. And then the fifth year, they do 29. And often I just see agents getting stuck right around 30 transactions a year. Of course, it's not like exactly 30, right? It could be 28, it could be 32, it could be 34, you know, but right around 30 closings a year, most agents hit a plateau. And this really surprised me because I hadn't seen this in other businesses with the other businesses that I've consulted with, you know, beyond realtors. But when I worked with more real estate agents, I just saw this pattern. It was like unmistakable. Like agents were hitting a plateau consistently at about 30 deals a year. And the more I thought about it, I just realized it's actually, there's a simple explanation for this. It's that once you hit about 30 closings a year, if you're relying on your time to generate leads, what happens once you're doing about 30 deals a year is that you simply run out of time, right? Because you can't do any more transactions. You can't fit any more into your schedule because you're literally running out of hours in the day, right? So if you're doing right around 30, like, you know, maybe in 2017 you did 28 transactions or 33 transactions or 34 or whatever, you know, right around 30 closings. If you did around 30 last year, I don't even have to ask you. I already know that you're probably working 50 hours a week, right? You know, it's funny when people say that like a full-time job is a 40-hour-a-week job. Like, I don't know any successful professional who only works 40 hours a week, right? Like almost every successful agent I know is working 50 hours a week or even 60 hours a week, right? So it's almost a joke that people think that 40 hours a week is a full-time job. You know, like I've seen the joke where people say like, oh, 40 hours a week, what do you do after Wednesday, right? Because agents know what it's like to work a 12-hour day or a 13-hour day or a 14-hour day, right? So if you did, I don't know, let's say 32 transactions last year, I don't even have to ask you. I already know that you're probably working, you know, 50 hours a week, right? Or more, right? And so if time is the main way that you've been generating leads, you know, up until this point, right? Like you've been cold calling expireds, cold calling for sale by owners, reaching out to your sphere of influence, you know, maybe volunteering in the community, you're a part of a bunch of networking groups, you know, just putting in the time, right? You're hustling, right? That's the popular word now, right? You're hustling. You're always calling back, you're answering your phone on nights and weekends, you know, you're sitting open houses on weekends, you're just putting in the time, right? You're hustling. Most agents can get to around 30 transactions a year just with hustle, right? But to get beyond that, you have to build a marketing system because we have to like sever this link between time and income. If time is the way that you're generating leads, eventually you will run out of time. And that's what happens around 30 transactions a year is you just can't fit more hours in the day, right? Because if you're working 50 hours a week and you want to double your business to, let's say, 60 closings a year, you can't just double the amount of time you're working, right? It's not like you'll say, oh, well, I'm just going to start working 100 hours a week, right? I'll just double how much I work and then I can double my business. It obviously doesn't work like that because that's impossible, right? So we need to find a way to be more efficient with our time so we can still work, you know, let's say around 50 hours a week, but rather than doing 50 hours a week and closing 30 transactions a year, we can work 50 hours a week and close 60 transactions a year, right? So what has to change is that hustle can't be the main ingredient in your business anymore. We have to actually build a marketing system, right, that exists independent of you, that's constantly generating leads, right? So again, hustle can get you to 30 transactions a year, but the only thing that'll get you beyond that, if you want to get to, you know, 50 transactions a year, 60 or 75, or, you know, we have clients doing 100 transactions a year, right? The only thing that'll get you beyond that, it's not more hustle. It's building an actual high-hanging fruit lead generation system.
Hey guys, Paul Gillespie team at Keller Williams Gateway. Before I met Tim and implemented the platform marketing system, I was selling about 15 houses a year. I'm 3 years into it. The second year, I sold 25. This year, I'm going to sell 60, and then next year, our goal is to sell 100. So the platform system is a real deal. I could not have scaled my business so quickly without it. Thank you.
So again, like, that's another example of an agent who's worked with us. That's Paul. He's in like the Baltimore, Maryland area with Keller Williams. And Paul has broken right through that plateau, 15, 25 to 60 deals a year, because he has a steady stream of leads, right? By the way, the average realtor that implements this gets like 200 leads a month. And that is the average. So I want you guys to write down some specific numbers so you know like what to expect, right? If you do this right, you should be able to generate about 200 leads a month. So every day, you know, assuming there's about like 30 days in a month, that means every day you're bringing in about 6 leads, right? So again, it's not hard to see how if you had 6 fresh leads coming in every single day of the month, 30 days out of the month, it's not hard to see how you could like double your business with 6 leads every day. Of course, 200 leads a month, let's assume that your cost per lead is $4. That means you're spending $800 a month on the ads, right? And so if you're willing to invest $800 a month, you know, on ad spend to get 200 leads a month, it's pretty easy to double your business. You know, most people would agree that, yeah, spending $800 a month to double my business, that's a fantastic return on investment, right? And so the trick is building the marketing campaigns that'll actually get you consistently leads for $4 a piece or less, right? So again, hustle can get you to 30 deals a year, but to get beyond that, hustle isn't enough. And actually, hustle is the exact thing that'll prevent you from getting beyond that. We need to build a marketing system. So I want to talk really quickly here about what I call like the Google industrial complex and why leads are so expensive now for realtors when they weren't expensive like just a couple years ago. So again, anyone who's been buying leads online knows that leads are much more expensive now than they were, let's say, back in like 2013, 2014, right? If you were putting $1,000 a month into leads, you know, in 2013, 2014, you were getting many, 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 many more leads for that $1,000 a month than you are today. The reason is that if you look at the home ownership rate in America in the last, 5 years, the average rate of home ownership, like the, percentage of the population per capita that's buying homes in a given year really hasn't changed. Like the same number of people are buying houses in 2018 as they were back in, 2013, right? The same number of people, like adjusted for population growth and all that stuff, the same number of people are searching for homes online as they were 5 years ago, right? So that number has remained pretty constant. What has changed, however, is that many, many, many more agents are trying to buy leads online. So there's kind of been like an awakening in the real estate community of like agents just waking up and realizing that, oh crap, I can't keep wasting all my money on print ads and newspaper ads and direct mail and billboards and all these, expensive advertising that we knew all along it didn't really work that well, but we just didn't have a better alternative, right? So agents have been wasting money on ads for years and years just because they didn't know what was a better alternative. Well, in the last couple of years, agents have started to realize that they can get leads, by buying them online. So they buy leads from a company like Boomtown, or they buy leads from Commissions Inc., or from Real Geeks, or from Curator, or, obviously the big portal websites like Zillow, Realtor.com. There was Tiger Leads, there's Ylopo. I mean, there's a ton of these companies, right, that are always willing to sell you leads because that's how they make money. What's happened is these marketing systems, these lead gen, systems for realtors have become really popular. And so now, keep in mind, the same number of people are buying houses now as they were 5 years ago. But what's changed is that there's way more realtors trying to buy leads in 2018 than they were back in 2013. So the demand side of the supply and demand equation, the demand side has gone through the roof. So the supply of home buyer leads has basically been constant. It hasn't changed in 5 years. but there's way more agents trying to buy those leads. And so, you know, we learned about this in like junior high economics, right? Probably the very first lesson of the class is just learning what supply and demand is, right? If the supply of something stays the same and the demand goes way up, what happens? The price increases, right? So if supply stays the same and demand goes up, the price increases. And so that's why the cost of leads has gotten so expensive in the last 5 years, is that way more realtors are trying to buy those leads, but there's, you know, roughly the same amount of leads today as there was 5 years ago, right? So the only thing that can happen is they bid up the cost per click, and then that directly affects the cost per lead. Most agents don't realize that even if you're not directly buying your leads from Google, like if you're not going into the Google, you know, ads manager and setting up your own pay-per-click campaigns with AdWords, right? You're probably paying a company that is. You know, all the companies I mentioned, Boomtown, Commissions Inc., you know, Real Geeks, and even the big websites, right? Like Zillow and Realtor.com. You think you're buying your leads from, you know, a company like Zillow, you know, or Commissions Inc., but where do you think they're getting the leads from, right? You think you're buying leads from Zillow, but have you ever stopped and asked yourself, where is Zillow getting the leads? Zillow gets their leads from Google traffic, from Google pay-per-click AdWords, right? That's where Commissions Inc. gets their leads. That's where the leads that go to your Boomtown website, if you have Boomtown, that's where they get the leads. They are buying, you know, Google clicks on your behalf, and they're essentially, you know, upselling them and, you know, giving you those leads, and they mark it up and they make a profit, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, of course. It's just capitalism. That's how it works, right? They have to make a profit too. But what you need to realize is pretty much like the business model of all of these real estate marketing companies, right, is essentially they're a middleman for Google ads, right? They're just getting their leads from Google, and then they're marking them up and selling them to you at a profit. So their entire model is they're just a middleman for Google, right? And so what I'm proposing is that we just cut out the middleman. You know, why would you pay thousands of dollars a month to Boomtown just to have a website? Basically, you're basically just renting a website when you pay. I think it's not $1,000, it's like $2,000 a month for, you know, Sync and Boomtown. You're basically just renting a website. Why don't we just cut out the middleman and we generate leads ourselves? And then rather than paying $20 a lead, right, we can get quality leads for probably $3 or $4 a lead, right? So again, I'm proposing that we cut out the middleman. You know, if in the book High Hanging Fruit, I talk about the example of an apple orchard. That's why the book is called High Hanging Fruit, is that I tell the story in the first chapter of my grandpa actually owned a small like family apple orchard when I was growing up. And if you look at the price of apples, if I go to like the grocery store and buy apples, it's way more expensive than if you just grow your own, right? Because of course there's tons of people involved in the production of apples that have to make a profit. There's the distributor, the grocery store has to buy them from the distributor. There's often marketing companies the grocery store hires to drive people into their stores. There's the cost of transportation and logistics. And then at the end of the day, the farmer, you know, who's growing the apples has to make money too. You know, like the grocery store has to pay local property taxes on their, you know, property. They have to maintain their parking lot. They have to pay their employees, obviously, at the cash register. Like there's all sorts of vendors involved that all of that ultimately has to get factored into the price of apples. So if you're paying full retail price for apples, you're paying a hugely inflated figure relative to if you just grew some in your backyard. Like the cost of seeds is, you know, really, really small, right? It's the same thing with real estate leads, right? If you're buying leads at the bottom of the funnel, if you're buying low-hanging fruit leads from a company like Zillow or Realtor.com, right, you're paying a really inflated retail price because they're essentially just a middleman, right? You have to pay an inflated price to get those leads, and that makes the math just not very exciting. Because if you know, if they're getting a click on Google for, let's say the clicks are $3 a piece because you're bidding on a certain keyword, and their landing page converts at, you know, 25%, that means their cost of getting the lead is $12 a lead, right? And so they might sell you the lead at $20 because, you know, they want to make some sort of profit on that. And obviously they're just passing on the cost to you. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying is all these companies are just a middleman for Google ads, right? So the reason leads are so much more expensive now is just because Google is more expensive. And so I'm proposing a different system entirely. I'm proposing we move out of the Google industrial complex rather than fighting over the low-hanging fruit, which is what all the other agents do. I'm proposing that we enter a new market entirely. Let's go with Facebook ads. Facebook, unlike Google, is the wild, wild west right now of online advertising. Facebook is honestly where Google was like 5 years ago, 7 years ago, where it's a really mature platform. There's literally billions of users. However, most people have no idea what they're doing with Facebook ads. Very similar again to where Google was 5 or 7 years ago. Most people had no idea how to optimize their websites for SEO or AdWords or anything like that. But the few people who did, I mean, honestly, made millions of dollars, because if you optimize your website for the right keywords, you got a ton of buyer clicks and traffic to your website because of that SEO, right? That's not really true anymore because Google updates their algorithms all the time. So SEO is kind of just an outdated strategy as a whole. But right now, what I want you to understand is Facebook is the new Google. Facebook is the wild, wild west of the internet. It's where we can still get leads for like $2 a piece, $3 a piece, $4 a piece, right? If you can get leads for, you know, an average of like $3 a piece, you can really grow your business quickly. So let's talk now about the specific Facebook ads that I know are proven to generate leads so that you can, you know, ultimately double your GCI. Let's talk about the specific Facebook ads. Whenever I do training on Facebook ads, I always start with just talking about what makes people opt in. Because ultimately, Facebook ads are not that hard. It's really not that hard to target ads and target certain zip codes and neighborhoods, right? Facebook wants it to be easy so that it's easier to set up ads and so they make money, right? That stuff isn't hard. What's hard is actually designing an ad creatively that's interesting enough to get someone to click and opt in and give you their contact information, right? The trick is that we have to actually offer real value. Most agents are not offering anything remotely resembling real value in their ads, right? Most ads are what I call like a business card ad, where an agent just took their business card, handed it to like the billboard company, and they're like, hey, take this and, you know, turn this into a billboard. And so the ad is basically just a giant smiling photo of the agent, right? And then obviously on there, you probably have to have your broker's logo just for compliance reasons, whatever. If you're a lender, you know, you probably have your license number on there somewhere, again, just to be compliant. And most ads just say, hey, when you're ready to sell your house, call me. Or if you're thinking about buying a house, call me. And then it has your phone number in huge font, you know, probably your website too. But there's really not any call to action, right? Like there's no offer of value to the leads. You're basically just saying, hey, when you're ready to go, call me. So it's like inherently you're trying to attract low-hanging fruit. Because if all your ad is saying is, hey, when you're really ready to go, give me a call, you're almost saying like, you're almost implying that, hey, if you're not ready to go right now, don't waste your time calling me because I don't want you to waste my time, right? So if an ad is going to work, if an ad, especially on a social network like Facebook, is going to generate leads, it needs to offer something of clear value to the person seeing the ad. Because people don't go on Facebook to see ads from local realtors, right? I mean, let's just be honest with ourselves. People go on Facebook to look at pictures of their friends, you know, to see what their friends or family are up to, right? They don't want to see a bunch of realtor ads. And so if we're going to advertise on Facebook and have success with it, the ad has to offer something of clear value to the person where they actually consciously make a decision. Oh, you know, with what you're offering me, I'm willing to trade my contact information for it. So if you're taking notes, please write this down. Generating leads with ads. Generating leads is as simple as offering something of value in exchange for their contact information. So lead generation is as simple as offering something of value in exchange for contact information, right? So often what I've seen work is like a free report, a video series, a free list of homes in a certain price range, right? Anything that actually has value that you can justify asking for their contact information, that's going to work as a lead generation ad. The problem is that most agents aren't putting any effort or creativity into this. They just, I mean, they're almost entitled. They just expect people to give them their contact information for no reason at all, right? They're not making a trade at all. They're just demanding people give them their contact information. So let's look at the way most agents generate leads. if you have a Boomtown website or Real Geeks, Commissions Inc., right? Pretty much all real estate companies with these, these websites, they generate leads the exact same way. You drive a lead to your IDX website, right? Again, whether it's Curator, Boomtown, Commissions Inc., whatever, they're pretty much all the same. You drive them to your website. Your website has IDX, right? So people can search for listings on your website. Once they've been on your website and they've looked at least 4 listings, then boom, they get a pop-up, right? And the pop-up says, hey, to continue searching for listings, give us your name, email, and phone number, right? And you're basically forcing people in that moment to register or to create an account or whatever you're calling it, right? And if they don't, they can't continue searching for homes. So you're forcing them to register. You're demanding their contact information, or else they can't look at any homes on your website, right? That's not really a fair trade. It's more of like a hostage situation, right? It's like, hey, give me your contact information or else, right? Like sometimes I've seen it where rather than after looking at 4 homes, they have a timer set up in the background where once the website, can track that you've been on the website for more than 25 seconds, then boom, you get a pop-up, right? And again, it's asking you to create an account or to register. So this is the way that, seriously, 99% of leads are generated this way. It's not 80%, not 90, it's seriously 99% of leads in the real estate industry are generated this way, where you drive someone to your IDX website and then you force them to register and create an account to continue searching for homes. The problem is this isn't a fair trade, right? You're not really offering anything in return in exchange for the person's contact information. Because if all they're doing is casually searching through listings and all of a sudden you're demanding that you want their contact information, what are they going to do? They're just going to go to some other website where they can do that for free. They're just going to go to some other website that doesn't require them to give up all their contact information. Because a lot of these people are casually searching. They are what we would consider high-hanging fruit leads. They're maybe 3 or 4 or 5 months away from being ready to buy or sell. They don't want to give, their name, email, phone number to a realtor who's going to call and harass them right away, right? They're not yet at that point where they want to talk to an agent. They're just kind of, casually doing some research. And so if this is the way that you're generating leads, guys, it really shouldn't be surprising that there's like an epidemic in the real estate industry of fake leads, fake contact information. Fake emails, fake phone numbers, where they're like, yeah, I'm getting leads every month from Boomtown, but, half the leads are fake emails, or, all the phone numbers are just fake numbers. It really shouldn't be that surprising that so many of the leads that are generated are fake, because they didn't want to give you their contact information. You were basically holding them hostage, and they're like, well, I guess I got to type something. And so with the leads that you do get, a large percentage of them are fake, right? Because if I'm on your website and I'm not at the point where I'm ready to go look at houses, I'm serious. I'm probably planning on buying a home at some point in 2018, but I'm not at the point where, I want to give you all my information and meet up with you, right? If I'm just kind of in the early stages of doing research, I don't want to give you all that contact information. So if you're demanding that I give it to you, I'll probably just go to Zillow, or I'll probably just go to realtor.com or any other website that allows me to search for listings and doesn't require me to register. It doesn't require me to give away my contact information, right? And so if this is the way that you're generating leads, don't act surprised when half the leads are fake. The actual statistics, just so you know, is that if this is how you're generating leads with an IDX website with a lead capture pop-up, they convert about 5%. And so 95% of the visitors who go to your website every month aren't registering. You're only converting 5%. So you're basically wasting 95% of your marketing budget because only 5% convert. And of that 5%, let's be honest, probably half of them are fake leads because, they're fake names, fake email addresses, fake phone numbers. And so it's just not a very efficient way of generating leads. What we have to do is offer something of value. And so think about why you're on this webinar right now. Right? You're on this webinar because we offered you a free copy of my book, High Hanging Fruit, right? I'm not stupid. I know that the reason you joined this webinar wasn't because you just wanted to hang out with me. It's not that I'm such a cool guy that you wanted to hang out with me for an hour, on your Thursday morning, right? The real reason you joined this webinar is because you wanted a free copy of our book. You saw the Facebook ad that we ran. The ad was promising a free copy of High Hanging Fruit. And so you probably thought to yourself, right? Interesting. I don't really want to give this company my name, my email, and my phone number, but they are offering a free copy of the book, and that book looks interesting. So yeah, I guess, like, I'm not stupid, guys. I know that you probably didn't want to give us your contact information. But if you're on this webinar right now, you are proof that this strategy works, right? If you're on this webinar right now, you are living proof that this strategy works, because we offered you something of value in exchange for your contact information. And the thing that we were offering was valuable enough that you actually made a conscious decision that, all right, well, I don't really want to give them my contact info, but I think it's a fair trade. I want the book enough that I'm willing to give them my name, email, and phone number, right? So you're on this webinar because of that. Just so you guys know, like, some inside baseball on like the stats of this webinar, right? The actual like analytics of the Facebook ad for the webinar that you're on right now. We spent about $1,000 promoting this webinar. We had about 200 people sign up for this webinar. And so that means that, our cost per lead was about $5 a piece, right? So we spent $1,000 promoting this webinar to realtors all across the country. We had about 200 people sign up. And so that means, we're getting leads for about $5 a piece, right? And so if we can get leads for $5 a piece, you can get leads even cheaper than that in your local market, because you're probably only targeting, a 5-mile radius, or maybe at most a 10-mile radius around the area that you want to specialize working in, right? We're targeting the entire United States of America, all the realtors in the United States, right? So if we're able to get leads for $5 a piece with a Facebook campaign, you can get leads even cheaper than that in your local market. But what I want you to understand here is the only way that an ad on Facebook will work is if you're actually offering something of value. So you have to ask yourself, is the thing I'm offering valuable enough that someone would be willing to click on it and give their name, email, and phone number for what I'm offering in return, right? Because you have to think of it as a trade, right? A fair trade. So think back when you were a kid, maybe you played dolls with your friends and you trade like the Barbie accessories, right? Or maybe you were a boy, right? And you collected baseball cards, and you would trade your baseball cards with friends, right? If you had like a rookie card of Babe Ruth, right? You would never trade a rookie card for some random player that no one's ever heard of. If you were ever going to trade, a Babe Ruth card, you would want it to be for a bunch of really good cards. It would have to be a fair trade for you to agree to that trade. That's exactly how lead generation works on the internet. You will not generate leads unless you're offering something of real value, right? So the thing you're offering has to be so awesome that people are willing to give you their contact information. So for you, you're on this webinar because you wanted a free copy of our book. That's proof that this works, right? I've also seen realtors write a copy or write a book and use that as a lead generation strategy. So if you write a book about your market, right? Let's say you're in like Madison, Wisconsin, and you could write a book like The Ultimate Guide to Madison Real Estate, or how to buy and sell homes in Madison, Wisconsin, or 10 tips for Madison homeowners, right? You actually write a book. And I'm not saying like a 5-page PDF or a 10-page PDF. I'm saying like a legit book that's at least 75 pages long. So it feels like a real book, right? If you were to write a book and then offer free copies of that book as a lead generation ad, you would get tons of leads. I know this to be true because I've done this with many real estate agents before, where we offer a free book in exchange for people's contact information. The trick is it has to be a real book, right? It can't be like a 5-page article you wrote that you're just calling a book. It has to be like a legit book. But when you run a free book ad, I've seen agents get leads for as cheap as $2. And what makes it work is that when someone clicks the ad and they sign up for the book, they're always getting real contact information, because the ad basically says, hey, if you're thinking about buying or selling a home this year, read this book first. And then when they land on the landing page where it asks for the person's contact information, it simply says, tell us where to send your book. And so it's kind of implied that you can't put fake contact information, because if you want to get that free book, right, you can't put a fake email address. You can't put a fake mailing address, phone number, and all that, because we need to know where to send your book, right? And so you're going to put real, accurate contact information because you want a copy of that book. So just once and for all, it solves the issue of having fake leads, with fake emails or fake contact information. Because if you're actually offering something of value that people actually want, lead generation is actually pretty easy. You'll never have an issue with fake leads, right? So just offer something of value. So a couple ads beyond like a free book that are working right now for realtors. One of my favorites, please take notes, by the way, because this is really good stuff. When someone hires me for consulting, usually I charge $4,000 a day for consulting if like a broker wants to hire me to train their team. And so I'm sharing with you right now the exact ads that I usually set up for clients. And so an ad that works in pretty much any market in the country, big cities, small towns, suburbs, everything in between, is a pool homes report. And so the pool homes report is a Facebook ad that we're offering people a free list of all the homes that are currently for sale in their area that have a pool, right? It's not that we want pool buyers. I'll get to that in a second. But what the ad says is, you know, let's say you're in Tampa, Florida, right? It would say, attention, Tampa. So that's how the Facebook ad starts. That's the headline. Attention, Tampa. I've compiled a free list of all the homes currently for sale here in the Tampa area that have a pool. You can view the homes here. And then it would drive them to a landing page that says like www.tampapoolhomesreport.com. Right? That's what the ad says. And then like the picture on the ad is just like a picture of a home with a pool, right? And then they land on the landing page and it says, you know, show me the homes. They click on it and it says, tell us where to send the you know, your Tampa pool homes report. And then they enter their name, email, phone number, right? And then we email them a link to where they can view the homes, right? So they have to put a legit name, a legit email address and all that, or else we don't know where to send it, right? So all the leads are actually legit, real contact information, right? So this ad works. It typically gets leads for about $3 a piece. That's the average. How we target it in Facebook is we target people that are homeowners over the age of 30. Sometimes we'll also target people with a college degree, but usually it's homeowners over the age of 30. The reason we do this is because it's not that we're trying to attract pool home buyers. The real reason we do this is because we know statistically that anyone who's interested in buying a home with a pool is not a first-time home buyer. Almost every single time, it's a current homeowner who they already own a house and they're moving up, they're kind of upgrading to a home with a pool. And so this is gonna be both a listing lead for you and a move-up buyer, right? So you're kind of getting a twofer. It's like a buy one, get one free, right? So if you get leads from this pool homes report, again, we're not doing it because there's anything special about, you know, homes with pools, right? It's that what we know secretly is all the leads coming in are seller leads too. And so you're going to be able to help them list and sell their current home and you'll get to represent them on the buy side when they're a move-up buyer buying a home with a pool. So this ad just kicks butt. Like I said, typically leads are about $3 a piece. And it works to, you know, get buyer seller combo leads. So we have agents all around the country running this ad. They just set it ongoing and they'll get a couple leads a day every single day with this pool homes report ad. So this is one of my favorite ads. However, the one situation where this ad might not work is if you're in an area of the country that doesn't have pool homes, right? So maybe you're in like Michigan or Montana or, you know, rural Ohio or something like that. And you're thinking, hey, like that sounds great. You know, if you're in, you know, Georgia or Arizona or Texas or something, but I'm in a cold Midwestern state. We don't have a ton of homes with pools, right? So what can work for you is what we call the Acreage Homes Report. It's the same idea, but rather than offering a free list of homes that have a pool, we're offering a free list of homes that have acreage. And so the ad is the same. It says, you know, like attention, you know, attention like Madison, Wisconsin, or attention Fargo, North Dakota, right? If you're looking to buy a home with acreage, I've created a free list of all the homes currently for sale here that have acreage. You can view the homes here at www.fargoacreagehomesreport.com, right? And then they click and they opt in, and then we send them a list of homes that have at least like 1 acre of land or more, right? And again, the reason we do this ad, just so everyone's clear, is not that we care about, you know, trying to find buyers who are looking to buy land, right? That's not the point. The point is that statistically, we know that pretty much everyone who signs up for this is not a first-time home buyer. So the leads that are coming in, they're pretty much all existing homeowners that'll be upgrading. You know, they're moving up to buy a home with acreage. And so we're getting a twofer on it. We're going to get, you know, their listing to help them sell their existing house, and we'll get to represent them on the buy side when they buy, you know, a larger home with some acreage, probably at a higher price point, right? And so the Acreage Homes Report is a really awesome ad. that works if you're in more of like a Midwestern or a rural area where, you know, maybe the pool homes report won't work as well for you. So those are two ads that are just totally killing it right now. They work really, really well. Both of them, we target homeowners over the age of 30, or sometimes as a proxy metric in the Facebook ads targeting, we'll just target people over the age of 30 who have a college degree, right? Because we're basically trying to make sure that the leads are coming in are quality leads, right? It's not like a first-time home buyer who has a credit score of, 450 that wants down payment assistance that had a personal bankruptcy 8 months ago, right? Like, we don't want those leads. We want quality leads, ideally of people that are already homeowners, and so we can get listings and buyers out of it, right? So those Facebook ads work super, super well. And these are ads that we run right now with our platform clients. So just so you guys know, Platform is a marketing agency that realtors hire, and we just set up all this for you, right? So if you want to, I'll share at the end of this webinar on how you can actually check out Platform on a trial month. It's just a gift we're offering you as another bonus on top of the free book. We're going to give you a trial month of Platform if you just want to hire us to set up all these ads for you and bring in leads for you. But even if you don't, just so you know, those two ads I shared with you are two of the exact ads that we use successfully with Platform clients. So I'm not sharing like theory with you. These aren't like ideas I've had. These are ads that I've tested with actually not just tens of thousands of dollars. These are ads I've tested with hundreds of thousands of dollars in Facebook ads for realtors all across the country. I know that these ads work. And so those ads totally kick butt. And the thing I want you to remember is they work because you're actually offering real value, right? There's a myth out there amongst a lot of real estate agents that that the reason their ads don't work is because some people just don't want to give their contact information anymore. I think that people are sick of, giving their contact information, and that's why it's so hard to generate leads online. Like, that's BS. There's not a shortage of people out there willing to give their contact information. What there is there's a shortage of real estate agents that are offering anything in their ads worth signing up for, right? There's not a shortage of warm buyers out there that are willing to click on ads and willing to register and willing to give you their contact information. There's a shortage of realtors that are offering anything that's actually worth signing up for, right? And so if you figure that out and you solve that, you can easily generate 100 leads a month, 200 leads a month or more. The average realtor that hires us at Platform, this is the average. They get about 200 leads a month. That's the average. I'm not quoting on the high end. I'm not giving you a best case scenario. That's actually the statistical average. The average agent who works with us brings in 200 leads a month. So I don't have time to talk about more ads because I know I promised you guys this webinar would be about an hour long. And so if you want more examples of ads that are working right now, just go to platformmarketingpdf.com and you can download 5 more specific ad campaigns that we've tested. We already know that they work, right? So by the way, just realize that on this slide here, the reason I have this slide in my PowerPoint training this morning, it's not to get your contact information. Because if you're on this webinar, I already have your contact information, right? And so if you go to Platform Marketing PDF, it asks you to opt in, to download that report of the 5 ads. The real reason I have this slide in here is just to reinforce the idea, just to prove to you that if you actually offer something of value, people don't think twice about giving you their contact information, right? Because if you've gone there and you've downloaded it, you're proof that this is true, right? If you want that PDF and you go there and you download it, you were totally willing to give up your contact information for it because it was a fair trade. Having that free report is worth more to you than giving up your contact information, so you're totally willing to make the trade, right? As realtors, and as entrepreneurs, really, right? It's just our job to come up with marketing campaigns that are fair trades, where people are willing to give us their contact information in exchange for what we have to offer them, right? So I want to show you this video here. This is a realtor in the Denver suburbs who talks about using this high-hanging fruit strategy, how he picked up a $400,000 listing. It's about building relationships, guys. If you generate real leads with real contact information, you can actually follow up with them and build rapport, get to know them early in the sales cycle, and then it's even easier to convert leads that way. So if you're generating leads, the high-hanging fruit style, early in the sales cycle, The cool thing is you don't have to rely on like sleazy phone scripts and sales scripts and, you know, handling objections and all that stuff, because you just casually build a relationship with people, right? It's February now. If someone's not ready to list their house until May, you know, you don't have to be super hardcore aggressive, salesy with them. You know, just stay in contact with them, add value, you know, send them a free market analysis, follow up when they opt in for more information. And when the time comes, guess what? They'll list with you, right? So here's a quick video showing about how this works in the real world.
In 2016, my team's going to do over 40 lead gen deals. It's not just all about the leads. We're walking up to a listing I have where the owner saw me in a retargeting campaign through a market update video, and now I've got a $450,000 listing. This whole high-hanging fruit marketing campaign strategy, it really works.
And so again, that's an actual listing he got. That's his sign in the yard. That's like a real house that he listed and sold. The reason I like showing you this is because like the dog barks at the end, and I think that's funny. So that's an actual listing though, right? He built a relationship. He got a $400,000 plus listing because he's not just, you know, getting a dialer. He's not calling his leads 10 times in the first day. He's not buying leads from realtor.com or Zillow, right? He's actually following the high hanging fruit system. At the very end of the webinar, actually after I give you a free copy of the book, High Hanging Fruit, I'll show you another video of Brandon where it's kind of a behind the scenes video he filmed for us in his actual office, where he shows the whiteboard of all the high hanging fruit leads he has in his pipeline. It's pretty cool. So, but that's the point, is having a pipeline, right? If you build the high hanging fruit marketing system the right way, you have leverage in your business. You can actually cultivate a bunch of leads at the same time because the marketing system is doing the work for you, right? If you're just cold calling leads all day, and that's the way that you're generating leads, you know, by time blocking and calling expired listings, you know, like your time is a constraint. You can't call more than one person at the same time. You can't talk to one person, you know, more than one person at the same time. That's always going to be the limiting factor in the growth of your business. And so that's the other cool thing about this high hanging fruit strategy, is that it allows you to scale, and time is no longer the constraint. You know, how many hours you work every day is no longer a constraint on the growth of your business. So the last point I want to make here, before I share with you how to get a free copy of the book, is this point of quality over quantity, right? The reason I talk so much about GCI, you know, agents that are doubling their GCI or tripling their GCI, is because GCI is ultimately the only thing that matters, right? Like your business actually growing. Because honestly, who cares if you get 200 leads a month if they're crap leads and your business isn't growing? That's actually, you'd be worse off than you were before, because now you're spending a bunch of time following up with crap leads and your business isn't growing, but you've invested time, right? And so you're actually worse off than you were before. That's the position that a lot of agents find themselves in. You know, if they're buying a ton of leads from, you know, Zillow, Realtor.com, Boomtown, Commissions Inc., Curator, Ylopo, you know, there used to be Tiger Leads. I mean, there's so many of these companies, right? And with this epidemic of fake leads and just very low quality leads, right? You end up spending a bunch of time, and it's not time well spent, right? So we want quality leads. We want leads that, you know, are not just opening your emails, they're actually replying to your emails. When you call them, they're actually answering, right? Most of the campaigns that we set up at Platform for the realtors that work with us, just to give you an idea of kind of like the baseline of where your results should be, is we're getting a 50% open rate on the emails and people who open like a 50% reply rate. And so not just a 50% open rate, a 50% reply rate, right? Where people who open your email, half of them are actually replying to the email and initiating a warm conversation with you. So it's not like you're having to email them 10 times just to get a response. Half of them are actually emailing you back the very first time, right? And so that's just an idea of quality over quantity, right? Because if the leads aren't quality, it's not going to be reflected in your GCI growing. So if that weren't true, we wouldn't have all these case studies about agents that have doubled their business or tripled their business using this high hanging fruit idea. So the last analogy I'll share with you here, this is the last slide before I'll show you guys how to get a free copy of the book, High Hanging Fruit, is fishing upstream. All right. This is the analogy I teach just to help people understand better what high hanging fruit means for your marketing strategy. So imagine that you're at like a river and you're fishing with some friends, right? And you're all standing like a couple feet from each other because you're having a good time. You're just socializing, talking with some friends. You know, you may be standing 3 feet apart from each other. You all have your lines cast in. If you're that close to each other, you know, you're all fishing in the same area, it's a zero-sum game, right? Any fish that you catch is now a fish that your buddy can't catch, right? Or any fish that they catch, you can't catch because you're all so close together. You're fishing in the exact same area, right? For you to win, someone else has to lose, right? Because you're all in the same area. It's a zero-sum game. What would happen, though, if you walked like 100 feet upstream? If you walked 100 feet upstream and you cast your line in there, you would catch all the fish before they ever got downstream to where everyone else was fishing. You would essentially be like intercepting all the fish before they got down there, right? That's what we're doing with high-hanging fruit. With this high-hanging fruit marketing idea, we're fishing upstream. We're generating leads earlier in the sales cycle before most agents would ever think to market to people, so that by the time they get to the point where they're ready to start house hunting or they're ready to list their house, they're already loyal to us because we've probably been in contact with them already for 3 months or 4 months or sometimes even 5 months, right? So by that time, they're loyal to us. They're not going to interview other agents. They're just going to go with us. And so we're fishing upstream. And so, you know, most agents, if someone's thinking about buying a home in May 2018, they don't really want to have that lead until April at the earliest, right? Because they don't want to have to like stay in contact with them for months and months and months before they're ready to go. I want to generate that lead right now in February. If someone's thinking about buying or selling a house in May, I want that lead right now in February. So we get a couple months where we can build rapport, casually get to know them, you know, build trust, you know, maybe send them some listing reports, a market analysis, you know, send them listings in the neighborhood they're looking to buy in so they can see what's currently available on the market, you know, so that by the time they're actually ready to go in May, right, they don't have any decisions to make about which realtor they're going to work with. Like, you've already earned their loyalty. They're just going to work with you, right? They're not going to interview other agents. So it's all about fishing upstream and constantly generating a future pipeline of leads that are ready to go in 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, right? If you do that, you can take over your market, and your marketing spend will be much more efficient than any of your competition as well. And so, as I skip here to this final video, this is a 10-second video. After this 10-second video, I'm going to show a slide of how to get a free copy of the book, High Hanging Fruit, as we promised you. And then I'm going to share more information about the platform marketing strategy if you guys want to hear more about that. Essentially, what we do with platform is, if you enjoyed this webinar, if you think that, you know, you want to use some of these strategies in 2018, but you don't want to set up all your own Facebook ads, you don't want to, you know, have to learn how to build landing pages and queue up the autoresponder emails and like set up the remarketing campaigns and send out text messages to your list. If you'd rather just hire us to do all that for you, that's what we do. So we're a marketing agency, and we specialize in working with realtors. And so if you want to just hire a platform to do all that for you, I'll share more information about that in a second. What I want you to know right now, if you can hang with me for another 2 minutes, I'll share more information about that trial month. This is the last video I show you. It's actually literally 10 seconds long. And this is an example of someone who hired us. And because what we talk about is building that future pipeline, right? High hanging fruit. He's already scheduled more closings for 2018. And it's only February. It's February 1st today, right? He's already scheduled more closings for 2018 than he did in all of 2017. So check out this video.
I have a pipeline in 2018 that is as large as everything that I closed in 2017. What else can you say?
Awesome. So that's one client we have with Platform. He's a realtor in Birmingham, Alabama. His name is Tom Douglas. So here's how to get a free copy of the book, guys, as promised. It's highhangingfruitbook.com. So to get a free copy, go to highhangingfruitbook.com. It's not highhangingfruit.com. It's www.highhangingfruitbook.com. That's where you can get a free copy of our book. No strings attached, right? So now I want to share a little bit with you about the platform marketing system, and I'll show you how to get signed up actually for a trial month of the platform marketing system. As I mentioned, Platform is a marketing agency, and we just handle everything for you. So if you want someone to just set up all your Facebook lead gen campaigns for you, you know, we will split test all the ads. We set up the landing pages, the email follow-ups, the text message follow-ups. We even edit all your videos. That's one thing I don't think I mentioned before. If you sign up with Platform, it's really like hiring a marketing agency. Like it's like having your own marketing department. Because in addition to setting up all your ads and all that, we will even edit all your videos. So if you film a market update video every month, or you film listing videos of your listings, just send us like the raw video clips, and our team will even edit all of your videos for you. So Platform is like hiring a full-blown marketing department. And that's why all these case studies I've shared with you, we have agents that have doubled their GCI, tripled their GCI, because they're not doing all this stuff by themselves. They hired us to handle all of their lead generation marketing for them, so they can just focus on following up with warm leads. So if you want to get set up on a trial month of Platform, it'll take 10 seconds. Here's the cool thing. All you have to do to get set up on that trial month is go to platformmarketmap.com and just tell us where your market is. Because we only work with one agent per city, not just one agent per zip code, but one agent per city. So for example, if you're in San Antonio, you would get the entire San Antonio area, not just one zip code, but the whole city of San Antonio. So to get set up on the trial month, all you need to do is take like 10 seconds and go to platformmarketmap.com and let us know where your city is. That's all you have to do. This is our gift to you for joining us on this webinar. If you want to get set up on a trial month, you can do that. If you go to our website, by the way, there's no mention of a trial month. So I want you guys to realize that this is like a gift we're offering you for being on this webinar today on February 1st, right? If you go to our website, there's no mention of any sort of discount or trial month or anything, anything, you know, like that. This is something that we do just on this webinar. So here's another quick video. This is Crystal. This is who Mitch mentioned at the very beginning of this webinar this morning. This is Crystal Boggs. She signed up actually like 2 weeks ago. And here's a video she filmed of the results that she got with Platform in her very first week running ads. And keep in mind that your first month is a trial month too. So here's the results that she got in her very first week once she joined the Platform family.
Hi, this is Crystal Boggs. This is my first week with Platform. I started Tuesday about 4 p.m. By Wednesday, I had 3 buyers pre-approved. By Sunday, 1 was in negotiations, 1 under contract, and 1 still viewing homes. It was an amazing week. Thank you, Platform.
So again, that all happened in her very first week. Because I know that what most agents are thinking is like, yeah, that sounds great. You know, it'd be really nice to have Platform manage all that for me and build out all the campaigns for me. But, you know, I can't wait 3 months to get results, or I can't wait 4 months to get results. Like, I need results right now, right? Well, there's an example of someone who got results right away. So in your trial month, most agents get somewhere between 100 and 200 leads, right? So just so you guys know, the trial month isn't something where you're just kind of like dipping your toes in the water and it's, you know, like a half-assed attempt at marketing, right? Like, we treat people in their trial month as a full-blown client. And so even in your trial month, you will receive 100 to 200 leads right away in that first month. So keep in mind, I'm going to show you this video one more time. Realize that Crystal signed up just 2 weeks ago. So she signed up in the month of January 2018, just 2 weeks ago. These are the results that she actually created in her very first week of running ads. So if you were to sign up right now at platformmarketmap.com and get set up on that trial month, you could have results like this by Valentine's Day, right? So just think about that. You could have results like this by Valentine's Day. This is what happened in her very first week running ads.
Hi, this is Crystal Boggs. This is my first week with Platform. I started Tuesday about 4 p.m. By Wednesday, I had 3 buyers pre-approved. By Sunday, 1 was in negotiations, 1 under contract, and 1 still viewing homes. It was an amazing week. Thank you, Platform.
Awesome. So I want to share this video with you too. This is Taylor. He's an agent in Tampa, Florida. The reason this is such a cool story is when Taylor joined the Platform family, he was a new agent. He was only making about, I think like $40,000 a year. And now with Platform, he'll do over $150,000 in the first year that he signed up to have Platform manage his marketing for him. And so he grew from $40,000 a year in GCI to over $150,000 a year in GCI in the very first year that he hired Platform. So we directly added, in other words, over $100K to his income.
Hey Brandon, it's Taylor. I'm a real estate agent down here in Tampa, 25 years old. And before I started joining with Platform, I made just under 40 grand, around 35. Last year in 2017, I closed over 7 million, made over 150 grand. And next year it's the $250,000 mark. I need to hit over 250. And I definitely think that's Platform.
Awesome. So again, if you want to get set up on that trial month, all you have to do is go to platformmarketmap.com. It only takes you 10 seconds. In the time I've been telling you about this, you could have gone there and done it already. So it's just platformmarketmap.com. All we're going to ask you there is where do you live? You know, what city do you work in, right? Because we are very strict on that. One reason that Platform works so well is that we only work with one agent per market. You know, most other companies, you know, like Boomtown, Commissions Inc., Curator, I mean, all of them, right? They'll work with 10 agents in a market or 25 agents in a market. And so there's 25 people running the exact same ads as you. So like, no wonder they don't work very well, right? Platform works so well because you're the only person in your entire city who's going to be running these ads. We only work with one agent per city. So not just per zip code, but one agent per entire city. So whether, you know, that's Austin, Texas, or Charleston, South Carolina, or Omaha, Nebraska, right? We only have one agent per city that we allow work with us. So we're really, really exclusive, but that's a reason that, you know, agents are consistently doubling, you know, in some cases even tripling their GCI with us is because of that exclusivity. So again, all you have to do to get set up on the trial month is go to platformmarketmap.com, and we're just asking, hey, what city do you live in? Just so we can make sure that you're not already living in a city that we already have a client in. That's the only reason we ask that. You don't have to like set up a sales call. You don't have to fill out some big survey or form or anything. All you do is tell us where you live. That's all you have to do to get set up with the trial month. So here's a quick video of Danny. We added actually over $175,000 in GCI to Danny's business. $175,000 in GCI that she can directly track back to the leads that Platform generated for her.
It's Danny. I am a realtor in Texas. If you're watching this, it's probably because you're interested in the Platform trial month. I have to tell you, you would be crazy not to take them up on that. When I started with Platform about 18 months ago, I didn't get a trial or any kind of discount, but it has hands down been the best investment I ever made in my business. When I first started with them, I was doing about probably $100,000 in income, so about $4 million in GCI, or excuse me, in production. Now, today, after being there a little over a year and a half, I have doubled, almost quadrupled that, and will do about $275 in GCI this year. Actually hired my first buyer's agent. I also have a part-time administrative person. So it's just been a really good decision, and to be able to try it out for a discounted price is awesome. And I wish I would have gotten to do that. But, you know, I still made an incredible return on that investment. So I definitely would highly recommend it.
Awesome. So again, if you want to get results like Danny did, you know, platformmarketmap.com. We added over $175,000 in GCI to her business. Now, again, I know the question you're probably asking yourself is, yeah, that all sounds great. Like, it would be pretty awesome, you know, if someone could just manage all my marketing for me and set up all the Facebook ads, you know, for me so that, you know, I didn't have to do anything. All I could do is follow up with leads. Like, of course, that sounds great, right? But how quickly does it start working, right? Because I don't want to wait 2 months or 3 months or 4 months or 5 months. I want some leads right now, right? I don't want to wait until April or May to have any business. I need leads and warm business now, right? So here's another video that just shows how quickly the Platform marketing system actually starts working to generate leads.
Hi, this is Michelle Jones from Tennessee. I joined the Platform webinar. I signed up, and my results for the first 10 days are that the 2 new listings ads that I ran with Platform, I got both under contract in the same day. I also have 5 active buyers that I'm currently working with now, and I also have obtained 3 new listings.
So again, it almost sounds too good to be true. That's why we had to get it on video so you would believe me, right? So That's platformmarketmap.com. This is a video of Danny Springfield, and this video is really cool, and this is unlike any other video that I've showed you so far. Danny's a realtor in San Antonio, and this video is cool because she talks about how her business has grown by about 200K in GCI, but she's actually working less in her business now. So her income has grown by like $200,000 a year, but she actually gets to spend more time with her family. Her business grew so much actually that her husband, Travis, quit his job. He was an engineer. So he walked away from like a lucrative career as an engineer and joined her team. So now her business is up and she gets to spend more time with her family. So again, like that just gives you an idea of how well this platform marketing strategy is working for realtors, that her husband could justify walking away from an engineering career to join her team. So it's a cool video. Her kid even joins her in the video just to show that she gets to spend more time with her family, and Danny's making more money.
Hi, I'm Danny Springfield in San Antonio. My platform story starts, I've been in business and real estate for about 5 years. When I signed up, I was plateauing at about 13 to 15 million a year. I had another agent on board with me, but I knew that we could get a little bigger and do a little better. Most importantly, I wanted to do that in a scaled fashion. So signing up with Platform enabled me to build my business to about $20 million a year, but where I'm spending more time. I have 3 little kids where I'm spending more time with them. My husband actually left his engineering job to join my team, and that has been such a godsend for our family. Our quality of life has increased dramatically, and we owe a lot of that to Platform. The biggest change has been the quality of leads, so you're not spending all your time chasing ones that aren't very good, and maybe even most importantly for me, has been that Platform, it gets me in front of my sphere.
And so I want to play that for you again so you can hear her say again that the big difference is actually the quality of leads that she's getting. We're not just getting people 200 leads a month with Platform. It's not just the quantity of leads, right? It's the quality of the leads is so high that they're actually converting more.
For our family, our quality of life has increased dramatically, and we owe a lot.
It's all about the lead quality.
The biggest change has been the quality of leads, so you're not spending all your time chasing ones that aren't very good, and maybe even most importantly for me has been that Platform, it gets me in front of my sphere for referral business so easily with very little effort on my part. So I'm a happy client. I'm happy to answer any questions you have, and I'm really just thankful to be part of the Platform family. Thanks.
Awesome. So again, www.platformmarketmap.com if you're interested in getting a setup with a trial month of the same marketing system that Danny is using. www.platformmarketmap.com. Here's another video of someone who joined that got results right away in the very first 2 weeks using the system. This is Jeff. He's up in Iowa. And so another reason I show you this particular video is I want everyone watching this to realize that Platform isn't something that only works in like big cities, or it doesn't only work in small towns, or only in the suburbs, or only in farm towns, right? It works everywhere. I've shared videos with you of agents we have, you know, in Denver, in Tampa, in Texas, in Tennessee. Here's one in Iowa, right? So all over the country, we have clients that this is working, even, you know, even up in Iowa. So here's how quickly you can get results if you get set up with that trial month. It doesn't take months and months to get dialed in. You know, it doesn't take months to get working. It works right away to bring in leads. This is how quickly it could work. You could have, I mean, I'll just say it again. You could have results like this by Valentine's Day. So just 2 weeks away, you could have results like this.
Hey guys, Jeff Downing here. I'm in Des Moines, Iowa. As you can see, the corn's growing right behind me, so I am definitely in Iowa. Just hit my 30-day anniversary with Platform, and I want to share with you some of my successes. First campaign, first night it's going, and wake up, my phone's got a full contact lead. Name, number, address, and then down at the bottom, the most beautiful thing in the world, says, yeah, I'm looking to buy a house in the next 90 days. We were able to get their home listed and get them upgraded in house. Both those houses went pending just last weekend, which is about $14,000 in GCI off my first day in my first month here in Platform. Also had a call. Hey, love your video. We're looking to sell our house and upgrade. So just last night was on a listing appointment for $425,000. That's an at-bat I would not have had without Platform. I've also added literally hundreds of contacts into my drip campaigns and into my SOI. So that's been really, really cool. Finally, I love talking to my account administrator once a week. David, if you're out there, man, you're the best. Love chatting with him every Monday.
By the way, what Jeff is talking about there is just another thing that makes Platform really cool is that we do a one-on-one personal coaching call with our clients every week. So it's not a big group coaching call. It's not like a mastermind call. We actually have account managers assigned to every single client we have. So every realtor actually has a personal coach at Platform where we do a one-on-one phone call with them every week just to go over how their ad campaigns are doing, how the follow-up is going, coaching them on their follow-up and how to convert more leads. And so you get a one-on-one phone call with us every single week. So Jeff's account manager is David. So that's who he was talking about there, is he loves talking with David, you know, every week on their one-on-one call, because that's really helped out his business.
SOI. So that's been really, really cool. Finally, I love talking to my account administrator once a week. David, if you're out there, man, you're the best. Love chatting with him every Monday. We can look at the effectiveness of the ads, my ad spend, and he's also helped me with scripts, when to call back, what to say, email returns. Just get rejuvenated to start the week after talking with David every Monday. So that's been my experience with Platform. If you want to know more, please look me up.
Awesome. So that's, again, Jeff Downing. He's a realtor up in Iowa. So platformmarketmap.com if you're interested in getting launched with your trial month of Platform. And so I'm actually going to skip ahead to the end here. And I mean, look at all these testimonials I could be. There's so many more video case studies. This is Justin Liller. He's actually in a town where most of his transactions are 700,000, 800,000, even upwards over $1 million. And he's consistently generating buyer and seller leads using the Platform system, even in a higher end luxury market. So that's a video of Justin. This is a client we have in like the Shreveport area, talking about how she got like 3 leads in her very first week that got pre-approved and we're ready to buy right away. So this is Micah. Micah is one of our clients in Hawaii. So it even works way over in Hawaii, right? And he's tracked all the business that he got from Platform. And so far, it's directly created over $100,000 in extra GCI for him. So he's super happy. Even works way over in Hawaii, right? So I'm going to show you a video that's at the very end here. So here's another one. This is Justin, College Station, Texas. Here's Rodney is in Kansas and Wichita. This is Amy. She's in Pensacola, Florida. I want to show you a video here of Brandon going behind the scenes at his office, and he'll actually walk into his office and show you the whiteboard of all the pipeline of leads he has specifically just from Platform. So he'll do over 40 deals this year just from Platform. So obviously the math on that is every month Platform is directly creating an extra 3 closings for him. So every month an average of over 3 closings on top of the business he's normally doing, right? So just from Platform, he can track an extra 3 closings a month.
So when I was first introduced to the whole online lead platform system, I was skeptical. Now, a year later, we're closing 40 deals in 2016. This is all due to the online marketing platform. For example, we have our buyers meet us in this building, which gives us instant credibility. Because when you meet somebody on the internet, you never know if they're real or not. So when you come to a building like this, people come in here, they want to work with you, they realize you're real, and then you sign them up as a client. Come with me to the office. For example, we are closing 11 deals in June alone, totaling over $4.5 million. That is an incredible number, and about half of that came directly from the platform system. Now over here is the stuff you can't fake. This is our pipeline. This is ready buyers who've been pre-approved. They want to go searching, they want to go shopping, and they want to buy a home. 50% of these guys are all coming from our platform system, and it's proven the high-hanging fruit mentality, the system, the platform leads, it really does work, and it's real.
There you go. Like the whiteboard doesn't lie, right? That's all the future pipeline he has coming from platform. So if you're interested in, again, the same marketing system that Brandon uses to generate all those leads, platformmarketmap.com. The very last video I'll share with you guys today. This is one that's really personally meaningful for me because it's a realtor up in Minnesota. And she was broke when she hired Platform. Her name is Debbie Kaler. She had no money when she hired Platform. Her real estate career was kind of going down the tubes. She was actually looking for new jobs. She was applying for new jobs because she thought that her days as a real estate agent were over. Her business really just basically like evaporated after the recession, the housing crisis in 2008, and she hired Platform with like the little money she had left because she decided, well, I might as well spend this on trying to generate business so I can kind of work my way out of this hole I'm in. But things were so bad, just so you guys know, that like the bank was about to take Debbie's house. Like she was so behind on her mortgage payments that the first ad that Platform set up for her was actually a lead generation ad to help sell her own house because she had to sell her house. She couldn't afford to live there anymore because she was so behind on her mortgage payments. And so that just gives you an idea of how bad things were for her. But this is like a classic rags to riches story where, Platform grew her business so much that, now not only is she not in danger of losing her home, she's actually bought a new home, a $500,000 lake home on a premier lake in her area. And she bought a brand new Jeep. Business is better than ever. She was actually voted the top agent for her brokerage in the entire state of Minnesota. And so this video isn't like a cell phone selfie video like some of the other testimonial videos I've shared with you. This one, we actually hired a legit documentary film crew to create this video because her story was just so unbelievable. I wanted to tell it with like a professional film crew. It almost sounds too good to be true. I totally understand that it probably sounds cheesy hearing me describe it, but it actually is like an American rags to riches story. Like this is the power of the Platform strategy. This is what it can do for your business if you really embrace this idea of high hanging fruit. And you have Platform build all your ads for you. So just keep in mind as you're watching this video of the transformation that we created in Debbie's business, if you want to have that same sort of transformation in your business, just check out www.platformmarketmap.com.
Okay, so I love this car. I've always wanted a Jeep Rubicon, always. Never thought I'd be able to get one, especially that I could just write out a check for, actually. But I was in Platform for about 6 months when my other car actually blew up, and I just kind of thought, what am I doing? I can afford what I want. So drove onto the lot with that wreck and drove off with this Rubicon with only 6 miles on it, which was a fantastic day.
So I want you to meet Debbie Kaler. The Platform strategy literally rescued her career. After the housing market crashed, she was struggling to make a living. Now she's driving a brand new car, bought a new lake home, and business is better than ever. Her story is just incredible. So I'll let her share the details. This is the power of the Platform strategy.
Hi, I'm Debbie Kaler. I'm a realtor in a very small town in west central Minnesota. Population just a little over 2,000. So it's a tough market. We have a lot of agents around here. In fact, I would say we are saturated because everybody for some reason thinks that real estate is the fast, easy money, easiest thing you can get into. So I got into real estate in 1990 and always did pretty well, probably in the top 10, 15. And then the market crashed. And being a single person, that was tough. I ended up losing my house, my car, pawned all my jewelry. I literally had nothing left other than the clothes on my back.
So, as I said, Debbie's story is one of the coolest Platform stories I've ever heard. After 20 years in the business, things were so slow, she was about to quit real estate entirely and find a new career. She was applying for jobs around the country, just trying to find something to pay the bills. And then she discovered Platform.
So thinking this is it, I have to get out of real estate permanently, even though I loved it. They found out my story and they said, you know, we have this young guy that does marketing for us, you should give him a try. So I was desperate and I decided, all right, I'm going to meet him. It turns out his name is Tim Schumack. And he came over and talked to me and started telling me about platform, and I thought, this is entirely too good to be true. There's no way anything is that good that's going to take me from about being homeless, literally homeless, to actually being able to stay in this business and make it. But humor me, I'll listen to him. So I meet him. He gave me the good sales pitch. Out of frustration, I hired him. And only because that day in the mail, the very last check had come from my retirement account. Very last check. And I knew it wasn't going to carry me through anyway, so what's the big deal? I might as well gamble. I threw it at him and said, all right, big talker, you think you can do this? Do it. I bet it was 3 weeks later, leads started to come in like crazy. And they started rolling in. I'm not kidding. And pretty soon I didn't have time for that other job I took. I was back into real estate. And here we are 2.5 years later. And I went from number 47 in my association up to number 2.
So Debbie went from having no money, literally losing her home, to being the number 2 agent in her entire association. I love this story. It's such an authentic example of the power of platform. The entire community noticed how quickly Debbie built her brand. Remember, building your business is as simple as building a list of people who trust you. Not just a database, but a list of people who trust you.
So one of the fun things with platform was I had so many friends say, you know, when the market crashed, we thought you were done. That was it. We thought your business was going under, that you were done, no more Debbie. And it's like you came back with a vengeance. All of a sudden we see videos all over the place and your signs are going up all over the place. And now you're really showing other people how it's done. I actually had a couple of my competing agencies come and try to recruit me with their company. To which it's like, no, I turned them down. I mean, they're like, don't you want to work for? And then they'd say their name because they're bigger names in the area. I don't have a big name. You know, Lakes Area Realty, Debbie Kaler Real Estate. And I don't have the big banners, the big balloons, anything like that. And it's like, you know what? I don't need you. I'm doing fine on my own. They didn't like that very well, but I've pretty much buried most of them, which is a great feeling. And it's all because of platform. I went from, like I said, bottom of the barrel, thinking that I was going under, to a place I never thought I would be. And it's because of the marketing. And that happened rather quickly. Actually, I would say within 3 months, people started to make comments about, wow, you came back strong. And by 6 months, it was, wow.
Amazing. So let's take a behind the scenes look at Debbie's office and get a feel for what her daily routine looks like when the leads are flowing in.
So I just want to give you a behind the scenes look at what platform has done for me. Just in this last week, I've gotten 3 pages of leads. The ones that are crossed off are the ones that I've actually come in contact with, I've had phone conversations with, or even met them for coffee. I've got 2 listing appointments out of it so far, and for sure 1 buyer, probably 2, maybe even 3. So it's been great that way. It keeps me busy. It keeps me in contact with people. But I really want to show you personally what it's done for me. So my dream car was always a Jeep Rubicon. And after working with Platform for, I don't know, about 6 months, I was finally able to get one. Brand new, right off the lot. And it only had 6 miles on it. So it was glorious. Working with Platform and really working the program. If you work it, it works. So if you've been in it and say that it doesn't work, it's only because you're not doing anything with it. I have proof, because what I'm going to show you is the property I was able to buy, and it may not be huge, but It is on a premier lake. It's on Green Lake, which used to be the second purest lake in the world. It's completely renovated. I can't wait to show it to you. So, you know, we're going to go there right now and take a look.
You know, I'm reminded of that classic quote from Zig Ziglar. You can have whatever you want in life if you'll just help other people get what they want. This is the very essence of the platform strategy. Just serve people. Before you ever ask for anything, provide value. Be the most helpful real estate agent in your market. As you'll see, it worked for Debbie, and it can work for you too.
I paid plenty for it just because it is where it is. But it is a Frank Lloyd Wright house, which does mean something, so I wanted to keep his design. And that's another reason I renovated what was there instead of tearing it down. It is a $500,000 house in a community where everything, the average price is $150,000. So it's an accomplishment. I never thought I would be able to do that. So we're almost at my humble cottage. So not only was I able to buy this new car, but Platform also allowed me to buy my new lake home. So this is the lake home that I bought, and I was able to renovate the whole thing. What we're standing in was actually just a screen porch. Going into the kitchen, I was able to put in all new countertops, new flooring, all new appliances, took out some walls, added some windows, opened up the living room. This was a couple tiny rooms before. But what I love about this place is this epic view of Green Lake, and thanks to Platform, I get to enjoy it every day.
Awesome. So again, if you're interested in getting signed up with the same marketing system that created these results for Debbie, you can get set up on a trial month at platformmarketmap.com. By the way, we have no contracts whatsoever. It's totally month to month. So you're not locked into anything. No contracts, no risk. And you can get set up on a trial month today at www.platformmarketmap.com. I'll have Mitch shoot you guys an email with like a checklist of some of the specifics of everything that Platform does for you. Because as I mentioned, we don't just set up your Facebook ads. We set up all the campaigns, we split test everything, we set up your landing pages, squeeze pages, thank you pages on the funnels. We send out follow-up emails to the list, text messages. We build retargeting campaigns. We even edit all your videos. So it's like having a full-time person to edit all your videos too. So you can start filming more like market update videos and listing videos. You'll know that all you have to do is film something quick on your cell phone. We will edit it for you and make it look professional. So it is like hiring a full-blown marketing department. So if you're interested, go to platformmarketmap.com. And in the meantime, what I'll do is I'll have Mitch send you an email with like a checklist of all of all the specifics of everything Platform does for you on a monthly basis, just so you can get an idea of kind of what Platform is, right? I'll have him shoot you that email, and then if you have any questions, just email him back. Again, to get set up on the trial month, no contracts whatsoever, so no contracts, no risk. www.platformmarketmap.com. Thanks, guys.